Father, we simply thank you for the opportunity to come here today and make decisions on behalf of the people of this county. And we ask that you bless those decisions and that they all please you. In your name we pray. Amen. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Webster? Here. Commissioner Holzhausen?
Here.
Commissioner McMaster?
Here.
Commissioner Garber? Here. Commissioner Hart?
Here.
Commissioner Coleman?
Here.
Chairman Root?
Here. All members are present. Move to approval of the agenda as presented. If there are any changes. Mr. Chair, I move to approve the agenda as presented. Motion is support from Mr. Palmer. Any discussion or changes on the agenda? Remember, if there are any changes, we will need a two-thirds vote to add it. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? It is approved. We'll move to approval of the minutes. I entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the August 20th, 2020 Board Commissioners meeting. So moved. We have a motion. Support. Any discussion on those previous minutes, corrections? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The motion, those minutes are approved. Move to the approval of the bills. Mr. Paul.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Move to approve the invoice and reports dated 8/13, 8/20, 8/28, 9/13, 9/10. Also MERS, Sunlight, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Fire ACHs, EFTs, and authorize the warrants for $5,463,610 for both badge and mark. And I authorize the warrants to be drawn from the Treasury for sale.
All right, we have a motion to pay the bills. We have a second. Mr. Marks. Any discussion on the bills? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Holzhausen?
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Hart?
Yes.
Commissioner Coleman?
Yes.
Commissioner Webster?
Yes.
Chairman Root?
Yes. Bills are approved. At this time, we'll move to the first opportunity for the public to address the board. I have no slips yet, but if anyone does want to address the board, there are slips here at the end of the counter they can fill out. And then they can speak. They have 3 minutes. Would you like to speak now or at the end of the meeting?
I'd like to speak now, I think.
All right.
I remember what day it is. Would you like me to leave this first or just start talking?
You can,
Move.
you can go
I'm
ahead.
not driving, talking, shoot it at the same time. And I'm not even sure if this is actually the appropriate time, but maybe it is. I'm here to speak in opposition to the proposed amendment to the Shah County zoning ordinance for parcel 0140440000106, which I can see on your agenda. My name is Beth Andrus. I am on the Perry Township Planning Commission. And this proposal was brought to us a few weeks ago, and our Township Planning Commission voted 5-2 against it. And the reason we voted against it was this would be spot zoning in our township. And as you know, all municipalities are required to have a planning commission. And those planning commissions are required to create a master plan every 5 years and review it. And for decades now, that is what Perry Township has done. After our planning commission recommended the proposal be turned down because it skips a residential area and picks up a proposed commercial area that is no other commercial area around it. The township board voted 4-0 to not allow the spot zone. We have several areas in our township along Lansing Road, M52, and I-69 that allow for commercial development. This is a half a mile north of that. All of that area is agricultural residential, and this would be the only commercial business in that area. So I think that if you're going to abide by the rules, if you're going to honor all the work that goes into these master plans, you should vote against this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else at this time? like to address the board? There will be an opportunity at the end of the meeting to address the board as well. So we will move on to committee reports then. We will start with Commissioner Webster.
So yesterday was our Council on Aging meeting. It was a little crazy because we're trying to have most people in person, but some people on the phone, and it was a little difficult meeting. But things are going well there, and the building is still closed to congregate meals, but they're serving congregate meals as drive-up meals. And last Friday they served 50 cars, so there's quite a few seniors coming out to get meals. And they're doing, I won't say everything, I'll let Gary say some of it. But we did get a grant from VAAA to buy a steamer for the Owasso location. The steamer they have doesn't work very well, and so they're working on getting that replaced so that we can continue to serve all the meals. So meals are being served in 2 ways: drive-up meals for people who would normally come in for congregate meals, and then Meals on Wheels being delivered to people. And that's kind of the majority of what's happening right now, because all of the activities and those sort of things are still canceled because the centers are closed. And we haven't had a VAAA meeting since our last meeting. That meeting is coming up. We don't meet in August, so that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Holzhausen?
Yeah, I'm on the senior system meeting with her too, and I agree with all things on that. For Durand, they wanted to have a new flagpole, so they're gonna have a 25-foot flagpole put up there. And that's kind of nice. So that's in addition to that, also on the Shah Economic Board, and I think we're gonna meet Monday with Mr. Rogers and I usually go to see what's going on in the county. Who was here yesterday, the guy was talking about Project 10 also, and Project 10, and also project down in Ohio, they also got that going, so that's something good. Also, I'm on the 911 board, and that board is, we're gonna get all new phones, and for the whole county, for all the police and the fire and everything. It's gonna be about $1 million too. That comes out of the 911 budget, so that's people that pay for the phone bills and the surcharge on that, the millage that helps pay for all the new ones. But after 4 or 5 years, they're all obsolete, so that's something new. Also, I'm on the mental health board, health and wellness board, and we're still meeting with Zoom and it's kind of hard to get things done that way. They're still taking care of customers and bringing them in and doing the same thing now, but it's kind of complicated. That's about it.
Commissioner Plum?
Parks and Recs didn't meet this month, so I don't have a report there. Also, the Township Association, we were supposed to meet the first Tuesday, and have a cookout at Shiawassee, but it poured rain. So that did not take place. And so I don't have a report for that. I-69 corridor did not meet, so I don't have a report for that. GST Thumb Region 5, I was not able to attend those meetings. Maybe, I don't know if Dan was able to or not. Okay, so you need a report. But Road Commission, has had a very good year because of the weather. They've completed almost all their work that they had scheduled, and they're looking at this, right now they're looking that they'll have enough monies to do all the work they have planned for next year. So that's pretty good. So, that's it.
Commissioner Garber?
The only thing that I do have today is just a reminder for my fellow commissioners to look at the Alcona County resolution that was included in your packets Tuesday. I would appreciate if you could look at it, and if you do have any comments, let me know. Like I said, Tuesday I have been in contact with members of this board and also in Muskegon County, and it is a very well-written resolution and something that I think as fellow commissioners, we should definitely respect the work done in other counties. That's all I have. Thank you.
Commissioner Marks? Nothing to report. All right, Commissioner McMaster.
So, Michigan Works, we had a Zoom meeting last Friday, everything is fine there. The GLS, the General emergency. The Parish Hiawassee Planning Commission meets next Tuesday. I don't believe we met last month. That's every other month one. We meet next Tuesday. True Midwest Trails Authority is next week. And obviously, we'll be happy to hear that we're voting about letting other counties sit on that board. But I've arranged for a meeting October 15th at City Hall for to begin discussions again of how we connect the trail that stops by the old Owasso Fire Department, which is where the fire store is, and how we connect that to go further east, cross M21, and go into the city to hook into the trail through Owasso and the trail that comes to Corona, and also our Shiawassee Water Trail. Whatever happened, and that was before I was sitting on the board, there was conversations with the railroad, which is out of state, it's out of Pennsylvania. Negotiations or conversations, talks kind of fell apart. So we are getting together to try to get some movement on that. Speaking of water trails, we have not had a water trails coalition meeting in a while. I'm not exactly sure. It's because of COVID or lack of interest, I'm not sure. We haven't had one for a while. And that's all my meetings. Trail garden update. We're just about wrapping up the harvest. Got some winter squash, pumpkins, the end of the tomatoes, peppers, and stuff. Within a week here, we should have most everything harvested, and we will be over 100,000 pounds cumulative over the last 3 growing seasons. So not as much as last year, a lot more than the first year, but total over 100,000. So that's all I have.
Commissioner McMaster, this time we'll move to our motions and reports for subcommittees. Commissioner Plum?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Move to approve the Public Act 116 farmland agreement application for Mr. David Sutton.
Support. Have a motion support. Discussion on this. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner McMaster,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Plowman,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Chairman Root.
Yes.
I move to approve the discharge of rehabilitation mortgage on 499 East Main Street, Corona, and direct the county board chairman and county clerk to execute said discharge documents.
Support. Have a motion and support. Discussion on the motion. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Plowman,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster,
Yes.
Chairman Root.
Yes.
I move to approve the amendment to the Shiawassee County zoning ordinance as presented for parcel 014-04-400-001-06.
Support. Motion and support. Commissioner Olshausen? Do we have any discussion on this?
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner McMaster?
I know we talked a lot about this yesterday, and there was concerns about adult entertainment businesses, and then that was brought up at the end of the meeting yesterday. That's not going to happen. I would like to comment. I appreciate the representation from Perry Township and Planning Commission, but this is not spot zoning because it is within a half-mile of a commercial district. And I understand the master plans, and I understand, but we're also redoing the county master plan, as I discussed, in this area will be zoned for commercial, most definitely, within 4 to 5 months. So we can approve it today, we can wait and stop business, and I won't be here, but you guys can approve it. Actually, we need to really to approve it because the master plan will probably be changed when you guys take office or shortly thereafter next year, and it'll be zoned commercial. This is a stretch of highway, very limited residential, and as I mentioned in my conversation when we talked about overlays, yes, it will not be an overlay going straight from 69 up to 21 into Owasso. But there are areas, there are intersections which do have residential, but also have businesses. There are also stretches for 1 mile or 2 miles that are agricultural land, where appropriate, it will be exceptions. There are weird situations. There's the Bennington Hill subdivision on one side of the road just north of here. Right next to it is the junkyard, I think it's a junkyard auto parts store, Potts, which is a lot bigger when you look at an aerial view than what you realize when you drive by. It goes way back. I don't know if it's 80 acres or 120, it's quite a large parcel. But across the street, you know, right now you've got a gravel pit. That'll probably eventually be made into a subdivision. Maybe not this year, maybe not 5, 10, probably 20, 30 years. That's what happens to gravel pits. They get dug out, lakes go in, subdivisions going around them. So we'll have to take that into consideration. It won't make sense to zone that area commercial if you've got a subdivision on one side and potential subdivision on the other side, but south of there, north of there where there's agriculture, and there's other commercial intersections that have been changed. Those are gonna be part of corridors, of business corridors along our state trunk lines. M52, M21, 71, 13, M78 Lansing Highway along I-69. Those are areas where it makes sense to put commercial growth, not off on dirt roads or small paved country roads, where there's a lot of residential, but on state trunk lines. And that's what's coming. Whether we do it tonight or we wait till January, February, that's gonna be the reality, especially in that area of M52, which is in a half-mile of I-69, which is not just an interstate, but an international trade corridor, so between Canada, United States, and Mexico. I won't get into the whole farming thing, you guys heard about that yesterday, but there's a reason why the planning commission approved this. And once again, it's not spot zoning.
I guess there's a lot of, could be spot zoning, wheeler trucking over on N13 and Eastern Road. That's all commercial, they bought 40 acres, and they also bought the bank downtown and turned that to part of the offices. They're gonna build a building there, they do trucking, all these haul trucks for all over the United States, and they're gonna have dozens and dozens of drivers, and they're gonna build a great big building there. They're already storing a bunch of cars and trucks, and that could be spot zoning, but we want it because it's on 13, and we want those businesses there. We also had it in Woodhull Township, along Old Lansing Road 69. We had 2 or 3 businesses over in that way that we could be spot zoning, and you may go into commercial business. So it's, I think that's what we're going to have to do. Same with 52 and some of the other places. I think we did another one on 52 in New Haven Township too. Was they put a wood shop there, a little wood shop, and that was residential. There's nothing going on in New Haven Township way that far away, but a guy wanted to put up a little shop and make covers and stuff like that. So he had to have a commercial in order to do that little business. So those are things that change every day. So those are just a few of the things that I think that has to change.
And I guess I'd like to add, I mean, Commissioner Olshausen's comment, if this is spot zoning, if you want to call it spot zoning, better here than elsewhere. Where else are you going to do spot zoning? And sometimes it's necessary, we've done it, it works. It's important for economic development. So everything we've done, when you look at zoning, and Justin Morbath will talk about this, every project he's brought to us, everything we've done, has been on state trunk lines, and there's a reason.
Yeah, and I hear about all the businesses that expand and add on and everything else, and they're all, because I'm on the Shah Economic Board, so I understand a lot that goes on, the purpose adjustments.
Anything else? All right, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Plowman?
Yes.
Commissioner Webster?
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Chairman Root?
Yes.
I move to approve the first reading of the civil infraction ordinance as presented and set the public hearing and adoption at the October committee of the whole meeting.
All right, we have a motion.
Support.
And a support, Commissioner Garber. Any discussion on the civil infraction ordinance? Or any objection to the October committee of the whole public hearing. Thoughts?
Just as a note, there may be a couple of changes pending revisions from the prosecutor's office as they review the ordinance, but it should be in its entirety for the most part for you.
All right. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Fawnin,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Chairman Root.
Yes.
I move to approve resolutions decommissioning agreement assembly 2 and decommissioning agreement assembly 3.
Support. We have a motion and support, discussion of the decommissioning agreements. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen, Commissioner McMaster,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Fawnin,
Yes.
Chairman Root.
Yes.
I move to approve the proposal for the Midwest Michigan Trail Authority to include the additional counties as recommended.
Support.
Motion support, discussion on this.
I think the trail's expanding, so they're taking on more counties, right?
I don't know if we need a roll call for this, do we? All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say. That motion's approved.
I move to approve the minutes of the September 14, 2020 Economic, Physical, and Development Committee meeting.
Support. A motion support on the minutes, any corrections, discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Those are approved.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll just move it to finance and administrative.
All right.
I move to authorize the relocation of county funds to 2CF and direct the county board chairman, county treasurer, and county clerk to execute all necessary documents to complete the transfer and set up of new accounts.
Support.
A motion and support, discussion on this. Dr. Bugs, we're going to have all of our accounts there.
Yes, we are.
No one's going to be,
Anywhere else?
No, all public funds must be accounted for and be subject to the audit and financial constraints imposed by the state so that we can track all funds. That doesn't mean that we're seeking to control all funds, we have to know where all funds are located.
this is the depository for now.
Correct.
We've had some in there, and now we'll all be there, so.
Yes. Currently, the county is using a couple of different banks, and some of those have been set up in other ways that need to be all corrected and be under the umbrella of the county and our large financial government protection.
Just a question, just in case, you know, I'm gonna throw something at the wall. If a department or elected official, I shouldn't say department head, but an elected official says they have a special revenue fund or a fund outside of, you know, nothing that we have to manage, can they decide to do that?
Now, unless the law somehow gives them special privileges, stated somewhere. Without that, no. It is all public funds that's subject to the oversight of the county board
For
commissioner.
purposes of uniformity of depository.
Chairman Root?
Yes.
I had a conversation with Dr. Boggs and looking at some other counties, some come up with a written board policy that talks about bank accounts so that it's something that everybody has in writing and everybody understands and all the ramifications, statutes, and everything. So I think passing this is great, but I think that also needs to be in writing for future boards and future department heads so that everybody understands what we're doing on policy.
And if I may, I don't think that would be any different than the policies that we've been adopting in the last couple of meetings. If you draft another one like that and add it to next month's agenda, would not be a problem.
Just hit on these two things that I can right now today.
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Well, we can add that.
I'll have it drafted for you for the next one.
Sounds good. Anything else? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Fawnin,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Chairman Root.
Yes.
Move to approve the risk management policy as presented and approve the credit card policy as presented.
Support?
We have a motion with support. Discussion on this? Let's see if you roll call on this here. Yes.
Commissioner Holland,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen, Chairman Ruth.
Yes.
Move to approve the resolution to close the MERS defined benefit plan as presented.
Motion support, discussion on this? God, we're getting in touch with MERS.
Yes, we've been talking to them, this affects new employees. We did put a couple of notes in there that if there's a break in service, they could come back to use MERS again if they have already been in the program. It'll take effect January 1. More than likely by next month, Commissioner Plowman and myself will be bringing forth a motion for our agenda for nationwide and the change in plans.
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Hart,
Yes.
Commissioner Holland,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen, Commissioner McMaster,
Yes.
Chairman Ruth.
Yes.
Move to increase revenue in account 101-172-569.000, state grants other, by $29,300, and then increase expenses in account 101-172-801.000, contractual services by $29,300.
Support.
Motion and support, discussion on these? Another roll call, please.
Commissioner Hart,
Yes.
Commissioner Holland,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen, Commissioner McMaster, Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Chairman Ruth.
Yes.
I move to approve Fund 516 budget as presented for 20.
Support.
Motion and support, discussion on this? On 516, raise.
Delinquent tax.
All right, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Holland,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen, Commissioner McMaster,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Chairman Ruth.
Yes.
I move to approve the minutes of the September 14, 2020 Finance and Administration Committee meeting.
Support. Motion support on the minutes, any corrections, additions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say. Those minutes are approved. Thank you, Commissioner Plowman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We'll move to Public Safety and Courts, Commissioner McMaster.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Motion to approve the invoice from Rave Mobile Safety in amount not to exceed $9,500.
Support.
Motion and support, discussion on this? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Plowman,
Yes.
Chairman Ruth.
Yes.
Motion to authorize the execution of the Motorola Flex software contract by the board chairman and discontinue the current contract with Central Square.
Support.
Motion and support, discussion on this motion? Another roll call vote.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Plowman,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Chairman Ruth.
Yes.
Motion to approve the minutes of the September 15, 2020 Finance and Administration Committee meeting.
They should change that to Public Safety and Courts.
I'm just reading what it says.
You just read the copy.
So, motion to approve the minutes of
We
the
can't
September
let you do that.
2020 Public Safety and Courts Committee meeting.
Sorry about that.
And everybody.
There's a motion, do we have a second?
Yes.
All right, second, Commissioner Garber. Public Safety and Courts Committee minutes, discussion on the minutes corrections. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Minutes are approved.
That concludes my report, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Master. Move to Health and Human Services, Commissioner Garber.
All right, I'm gonna read these all for the third time to September 30th, 2021, and authorize the health director to sign all necessary documents.
Support.
Motion support, discussion on this contract. Health director gave us the update.
Most all of these people that are new in the audience, we went through these Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, so that's why we're not discussing them again, so that's why we're just all voting yes or no.
Yeah, Tuesday's committee meeting.
Yeah.
So, anything else? Another roll call vote then?
Commissioner McMaster?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Plowman?
Yes.
Commissioner Webster?
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Chairman Ruth?
Yes.
Right, I would move that we approve the contract between the Shiawassee County Health Department and Convenient Urgent Care for Sexually Transmitted Infection Services in the amount of $60 per visit for the period of October 1st, 2020 to September 30th, 2021, and authorize the health director to sign all necessary documents.
A motion and support. Any discussion? Roll call vote again.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Plowman?
Yes.
Commissioner Webster?
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster?
Yes.
Chairman Ruth?
Yes.
I would move that we approve the contract between the Shiawassee County Health Department and the Shiawassee Regional Education Service District for reflective supervision services for the MIHP program in the amount of $2,138 for the period of July 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2021, and authorize the health director to sign all necessary documents.
Support.
Got a motion and support. Discussion on this. Roll call vote please.
Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Plowman?
Yes.
Commissioner Webster?
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Chairman Ruth?
Yes.
I would move to approve the contract renewal between the Shiawassee County Health Department and Shiawassee Health and Wellness for social work services as part of Perry School's Child and Adolescent Health Program in the amount not to exceed $80,500 for the period of September 1st, 2020 to August 31st, 2021, and authorize the health director to sign all necessary documents.
Support. Motion support. Discussion on this motion. Roll call vote please.
Commissioner Plowman?
Yes.
Commissioner Webster?
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
Chairman Ruth?
Yes.
I would move to approve the contract renewal between the Shiawassee County Health Department and Shiawassee Health and Wellness for social work services as part of the Durand School Wellness Program in the amount not to exceed $80,500 for school year 2021 to 2020 to 2021, and authorize the health director to sign all necessary documents.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Discussion. Roll call vote please.
Commissioner Webster?
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Plowman?
Yes.
Chairman Ruth?
Yes.
I would move that we approve the contract between Shiawassee County Health Department and Connie Brown, RD, for dietitian services in the WIC program in the amount of $32 per hour for an average of 16 hours per week for the period of September 1st, 2020 to August 31st, 2021, and authorize the health director to sign all necessary documents.
Support.
We have a motion support. Discussion on this motion. Roll call vote please.
Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Plowman?
Yes.
Commissioner Webster?
Yes.
Chairman Ruth?
Yes.
Finally, I would approve the minutes, or move to approve the minutes of the September 15th, 2020 Health and Human Services Committee meeting.
Support.
Motion support. Discussion on the minutes, corrections, additions. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Those minutes are approved.
That concludes my report.
Commissioner Garber will move to Vice Chair Marks. Committee of the Whole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I will move to approve the resolution in support of Project TIP.
Support.
Motion and support. Discussion.
Just like I was saying, they've already started the project down in Ohio, and a smaller scale, and it's supposed to be really energy efficient. And it's working fine, so I hope to move it to Shiawassee County. There's gonna be a big start on that, so they're looking for more money, grants, and support, so. But they're still working on it.
Anything else from anyone? All right, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner McMaster,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks.
Yes.
Commissioner Plowman,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Chairman Root.
Yes. All right, and I will go ahead and move to approve the minutes of the September 16th, 2020 committee of the whole meeting. Support. Motion support, Commissioner Plowman. Discussion on those minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Those minutes are approved. All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. That concludes my report. Thank you, Vice Chair Marks. Other agenda items, do we have anything else we want to discuss? All right, we will go into my report. I don't have a whole lot this month. We've been going through the budget meetings, Dr. Boggs, myself, and Commissioner Plowman. And we've had some, overall they've been pretty good. I mean, I think everybody's kind of getting the 15% and understanding that we've got to be firm at that. And we've got some that are in the ballpark. We've got some that are coming up with some special revenue sources to help keep their budget in the ballpark, so that's been nice. It's still going to be a process, though. I still think there's some outliers there that we're going to be dealing with. That could still see employees cut, loss of positions, because once you start trimming down the basics and the bare essentials, you're only left with staff, and those become the biggest costs. And though we're trying our best to avoid that, it's in some areas I think it's going to be inevitable. I don't think we're going to be able to get around it with the 15. Now, we're being extremely conservative and cautious because we don't know what's coming with the state. We don't know what could happen next year. So, it is better to be on the safe side to over budget and make a bunch of adjustments, and then that's at the end of next year trying to figure out what we did. So, I mean, I think the 15 was good. I think we got Dr. Boggs to come down from his original 20 that he wanted, so 15 was good, and most everybody, like I said, is doing their part to meet that and working with us, so that's been good. And everybody understands, that's been the good part too. Everybody gets it, and they understand that, times are, we don't know what we don't know, so that's been kind of tough on us, so. But we do want to get this right. We want to get, then we need to, by the time we adopt the budget, we're hoping the audit's in by then. Dr. Boggs will give you a wonderful update on that next. But we certainly, I don't know. I sit here and I deal with it every day or come in every couple weeks, and it seems like you're just stuck. But I think we are making progress, and the progress that we're finally making now is actual progress that's actually changing things. It's actually starting to make things better. And, it's not easy, it's tough, but I think we have buy-in from everyone now, elected officials, department heads, and we're all kind of in this together. There's no more, we're trying to do something, they're trying to do something, we don't like that, they don't like it. I think everybody sees the big picture finally, and I've been here for 6 years, and it's still not perfect, but it's getting there, and I think we're definitely, I am seeing the changes we're making with things like pensions, we did that today. I'm seeing things with cuts in budgets, that are actually going to change. We've seen technology upgrades last year that we're seeing change things and change productivity. We're seeing new phone systems that we've implemented that are saving us money. So there's a lot of things now that we're starting to reap those benefits from things we may have did 3, 4, 5 years ago, but they're all starting to come now, So government is slow. That's concludes my report. But thanks for everybody. Everybody's been pretty active on this board and pretty involved and does their part. So
So if we have questions on particular
As you were asked, Dr. Wallace, under his report.
That's Dr. Voss. And you are up, Dr. Voss.
Okay. So a couple of things I'd like to highlight and go through. I will be reaching out to MERS based on their conversation and based on your official actions tonight to talk to them. Like I said, they expressed an interest in wanting to talk, so we'll see what they have to say. We will be looking to bring up nationwide next month as it currently stands. So Commissioner Plowman and myself will be having a meeting with them to look at their proposal in the coming weeks. In addition, we have begun the process with 44 North of transitioning our health care to being under their wing. We've had a couple of meetings with staff and our staff and their staff to begin that process, and then we will be, once our staff understands all the things that have to happen here at the Survey building for us, we will then start having meetings with the rest of the county to go over health plan changes and things and how it's going to affect them, which it's not going to affect them as much as it's a process. Now, there's been no change in coverage. We have gotten 2 notes from unions that contracts are expiring or they had wage openers. So we will begin looking at those contracts in the coming weeks. One is the Circuit Court Association, and then the second one is Teamsters, who had a wage opener this particular year. My goal is for next month to have you a draft budget based on our meetings and that we've had so far. We'll be able to plug in our revenues that we think we have. By then, we should have solid projections from the state. In addition, the auditors have requested an additional sample of documents relating to the friend of the court as of today. We've provided them additional information. One of the things that the auditors do is they take like a sample as they begin to analyze something. If they find an error in the sample area continues to get bigger and bigger as they look at it. So now they are into looking at payroll projections at the moment. So hopefully we have answered their questions. I hope to have this wrapped up sooner than later.
Can I ask a quick question?
Absolutely.
Do we know why we keep finding the sample areas being incorrect? Like what are we coming across that?
So
It seems like it's every single thing they ask for is sample, then larger, then larger, then larger.
So for example, today's was they pulled a sample and there was an abnormal amount of salary for an individual that was not in our pay scale. And it was because this person was in this position and they would have received a lower pay based on the pay scale, so they were redlined as an individual that was not going to get any more raises until the pay scale caught up to where they were at. However, they weren't in line with the policy, so they flagged it, and then they wanted to know why that individual was not in line with that policy, so we had to provide paperwork and justification as to why that person is being paid more than the pay scale is. And that's why there's a little unique things, and it's really the result of a series of different agreements that have been made in different departments that don't follow standard policies in many ways. And that's one in this particular case that came up today. So we had to go dig through the wage study to find the employees that were quote-unquote redlined, as the term that was used, that were not within this scale. So that was today's. IT is working with Brady's Business Solutions to do a printing audit to look at reducing our cost per printing per month because it has become increasingly high. And then we will be looking at dividing those costs to the appropriate departments. At the current moment, we absorb as an admin the entire printing budget. We want to get that out to the departments where the use is. And then 2 last things. We did receive CARES funding today, or we received notice that it will be deposited, I think, tomorrow?
Probably Monday.
Probably
We'll
Monday.
probably see it in the bank on Monday.
Probably in the bank on Monday. We did submit an application for $1.5 million for payroll reimbursement and other expenses that we incurred during the April and May, I believe, were the months that we could submit for. We received $766,000. So everyone in this general region, it looks to be, received 50% of the request. So based on those proportions, we will be dividing those monies across the funds. And then the last thing I have is I just want to highlight that with Judge Stewart and Scott Kerner, our prosecutor, we had our first post-COVID trial with social distancing. And do you want to touch on that?
Thank you. Yeah, it was exciting to get out there and get back in action. Wasn't easy. My hat's off to the circuit court staff who made things very smoothly. I don't know if you know, we picked our jury over at the city center, the old casino. As it says in there, I never knew that was a casino, but you learn something new every day. It was set up so we were social distance. We had 6 feet in between jurors. We picked them from the back, put them up in the front. After we completed our jury, we held the jury in our historic court, which was not easy again. They expanded the jury box so we could try and put all 14 jurors. Didn't work. The last minute we had a change and we sat them in the gallery, so where the public usually sits, we had them socially distanced in there. The council table was kind of unique. It's kind of real adversarial now. I'm staring at Dr. Boggs as he's staring at me during the trial. It was a little bit different. I thought both sides did.
We were exchanging lawyers.
Both sides put on a great, had great advocacy for their clients. Fortunately, the good guys won this time. Justice was served this time. But I think it went really smooth. I think the next one's going to be a lot smoother. Hoping that they keep us open. I know the health department's watching our numbers. We need to be approved by scale, Supreme Court Administrator's Office, before we can start the next one. I haven't heard otherwise that I think we have a green light, so we have a week off next week, but we should be resuming trials again very shortly. It was a great team effort, I think, from my staff. I was ecstatic with how they pulled together to do this because this was not normal. Passing out exhibits during COVID, we had to lay them on the chairs with gloves, keep social distance. People in the security, the sheriff's department did a great job keeping us secure, making sure the building was secure, making sure both the city center and the circuit court. And I think again, the circuit hats off to the circuit court staff. We really put together something smooth. We had during voir dire, that's the questioning you do before the jury starts. The court staff had a boom like a stick, and they go to each prospective juror, and they put a little covering over the mic, ask questions, and then project the sound throughout the courthouse, so everybody could be heard. I thought it was going to be a little bit different with the mask. Once you're up on the stand for speaking, you are allowed to remove the mask, which helps both sides to assess the credibility of the witness who's speaking, and also so you can help hear our voice. But overall, it was a challenge, but we stepped up to it, and I'm excited to move along. There's going to be a lot more trials. There's quite a backlog. We're going to try a case since February, not because we didn't want to, but we didn't have permission. But that should be ramping up, and we're excited to be moving forward.
I would note that we're one of 3 counties in the entire state that have held a jury trial thus far. And once you're arrested and you're charged, you have a right to a speedy trial, and we're ensuring that their rights are met, or at least we're attempting to. And this is very important, especially if you're the one trial. And there will be some additional expenses related to this, but this will be coming from a separate pot of CARES money that can be spent on these kind of activities during COVID. That we have been awarded for the state, but we have not drawn down yet.
Thank you, Dr. Boggs. Does anyone else have anything?
There's some questions for Dr. Boggs. So Commissioner Root talked about some outliers. How many departments right now dealing with 15% cuts are out? Who do you consider outliers?
Well, there's one in particular that we still have to go back and redo. We have a handful that have gotten their budget notes from me and to and follow up with them, but most of them are within 11 to 15% of where they need to be. There are a couple that are not. There are a couple like Mr. Kerner's department who found additional revenue that they had from other contracts who are exactly on the money for where they need to be based on the additional revenue. So I would say there's probably less than 5.
Okay, how many, and I know this would be a rough estimate, what are we looking at right now for potential layoffs? Either a number that you think we're eventually gonna arrive at, or what some department heads are proposing right now to make that 15%?
So a couple of them will have to probably have, a couple of departments will probably have to have some layoffs. With the additional revenue from some of them that they have found, they have bought themselves more time. It really depends on how many people take the buyout.
Well, that was my third question, where are we on the buyout?
So I've had one meeting with staff members in the sheriff's department. I have to meet with the union to create a letter of understanding. I will be doing that Sunday, and hopefully we will arrive at a number there soon. At this point, it looks like
meaning number of employees or
number of
or
employees.
cost of?
Number of employees. So at this point in particular time, I'm thinking at least 8 that I have heard.
Only my sheriff's.
Which these 8 individuals that are in there are in key areas that will.
And these are all individuals right now that are eligible, or will be eligible in the next couple? Because I know we talked about somewhere like 59 and a half, and
There is one of those who will be eligible partway through the year, and I have to meet with him individually.
okay. And then also, and I don't remember what month this was during COVID, we had somebody come in, might have been a Zoom meeting, or it was supposed to be a Zoom meeting, but we ended up all being in here. Maybe that was probably May, maybe June. We had someone from the state talk about land bank. Where are we with land bank conversations?
At this point in time, we cannot create a land bank without the treasurer's sign-off. We have not revisited it since they have released the lawsuit, or they've ruled in that lawsuit. We probably should have a meeting to discuss it again in the next couple of weeks. Because they did finally rule in that lawsuit, they did rule about giving some of the money back to individuals, but I don't.
We're not involved in this.
We are not involved in it at all. It's more of, it's other counties that have land banks, but it did not have the far-reaching effects that some had thought, but it did have some effects. So I mean, we just have to sit down and revisit it.
Anything else? Anything else for that class? Anything else for any other commissioners? All right, we'll have a second opportunity for public to address the board. Most slips have been turned in. They are up here if anyone does want